from Big Talks. It's my favorite day of the week during my favorite time of the year. It is Saturday, September 11th, 2021. We got week 2 of college football action going on, and excited to have it. I think I just muted everybody. Well, Joe, how are you doing today? We'll find out.
I'm fantastic.
All right, so I didn't.
I'm doing really good.
That's awesome. So we're going to the style that we did last week, where we brought in a bunch of different people, just one at a time. Of course, our regular guys, Rod and Brian, we have them here, and then we also have a couple other cappers, and we're going to be doing this on the weekends. I like this format because it gives everybody kind of center stage. It's like they're focused and dialed in while they're here, and then they can go do whatever it is that they do, which found out before the show what some of that was, and I gotta say it was not. I was ready to. I was done with the conversation, but but anyways, it's week 2 of college football, and it's a big day here. So it's my favorite day of the week during my favorite time of the year. I love college football, and last week did not disappoint. Of course, today September 11th, and today's the day that I say I used to work in the World Trade Center, and I lost a lot of friends on that day, and I'll never forget them. And today's the one day a year that I kind of do this kind of sappy crap, but it's meaningful to me, and I understand that it's not football picks or whatever, but so here's me back in the day when I used to work in the World Trade Center. Zoom in. Here's my card.
Look at all that hair.
I had a full head of hair. I had a beard and mustache. I had everything. I was young and ready to take on the world. You can see my badge here. And I worked on the 86th floor of the World Trade Center. And I was there when the bomb went off in 93. And after that, I left, but a lot of my friends stayed. And they were there when, they were on one of the floors that, if the plane hit below, or above, if the plane hit below the floor, none of those people made it. And, we remember all of them. And I know exactly what they were doing when that plane hit the building. They were doing exactly what we were doing, just sitting around drinking coffee, talking about football or, whatever the case may be. It's like, because it was the same thing when the bomb went off. We were just talking about, like, where we're going for lunch. You just don't know what's going to happen. So it's like, they were cowards, the guys that took them out. It's like, wasn't like they were there to fight or do anything like that. They were drinking coffee, talking about sports, more than likely. So we remember them, and we'll never forget them. And, good people, most of them. But anyways, I know Joe D'Amico also, from that area, I'm sure he has 9/11 stories as well, but he also has some football stories. So we will bring Joe in. Sorry to be kind of a bummer taco there, but
it had to be said today. It absolutely did. We can't forget.
So Joe, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mitch. Good morning, everyone. Joe, Bill, Brian, Chris, Roddy. How is everybody today?
We're all good. It's just you on the screen though with Joe and I. So it's week 2 of college football. Last week you went to the game. How was that at Allegiant Stadium?
I highly recommend going to Allegiant Stadium for a sporting event. The football game was great. It was funny. We walked in, my wife and I, and the stadium wasn't capacity, but there was a good amount of people there. And, I didn't know who I was going to. We talked about that she bought 2 jerseys a month before, a BYU and an Arizona. We went in Arizona, in BYU garb. I would have to say that 85% BYU blue in the stands. However, the 15% from Arizona was louder. Funny thing that I'm sure you'll appreciate, everyone. We went in, we got our seats. We loved it. We took our little pictures to put on social media. We had a great time, met some people around us. Went up to the concession stand to get a beer. The guy at the concession stand says, I've been here 3 hours. You're the first people to buy a beer for me. I looked around, didn't dawn on me that obviously being predominantly BYU, a lot of Mormons, great. They didn't drink. All the rowdy Arizona people in one section was drinking. So loud, Mitch and Joe. It was amazing. But it was a good game. I highly recommend going to see a game at Allegiant Stadium. parking, everything, getting in, getting out, not like it was a few months ago for the first two events, Elenium and Garth Brooks. Mitch, I'll be there Monday night, Raiders, Ravens. Now, I don't even know who I'm going to bet yet, but I will tell you this. You can bet every dollar you got in the bank, and some you don't have, that I'm going to be wearing Raiders silver and black, even if I bet purple. I can tell you this. If Barney, the children's character, shows up, he's going to get his butt whooped by some Raider fans. That is going to be a Raider crazy place, and I'm just happy that it's here in Vegas, and we got football back, guys.
Well,
I'm jealous. I'd love to be at that game. It's going to be fantastic.
Come on over. Jump on a plane. You could be here in a few hours.
I'm jealous as well.
Canada's not that easy to get out of right now.
Neither is Hawaii these days, and yeah, I haven't been to Vegas. This is the longest I've been in probably the last, I don't know how long it's been. I think the last time I was there, I think I saw Chris Ruffalo. I think the last time I was in Vegas, it was a while ago. But so Joe, today's card. You have anything you like out there on that you're looking at?
Well, I'm going to be giving out two wonderful free winners. One is a free game, one is a premium play. Mitch, as you know, Joe, I finished the NFL preseason 7-2, one of the best in the world. I am 1-0 college football so far this year. I've got 5 big winners on the Pick Dogs board. I got my gridiron, my touchdown, my consensus, my wise guy, my holy war winner. So, folks, go over to Pick Dogs. We have some huge discounted programs. Join me here today, and you're going to start your football campaign off with a huge payday. I have 2 winners, if I can, Mitch and Joe. Is that all right?
Absolutely, Joe. It's your stage. We know once you got the mic, it's going to take an army to grab it away from you. So don't mind us. We're just here for the ride.
Thank you, guys. Sports fans, 2 big winners. My first, I want to talk about a high-profile game. Perhaps they were looking ahead, but the 9th-ranked Iowa State team had their hands full with Northern Iowa in their season-opening 16-10 win and no cover. Remember, it's not if they win, it's if they cover last week. Not the case at all for the 10th-ranked Iowa team. They shredded a very game Indiana team 34-6. Quarterbacks Spencer Petras, Brock Purdy, both very good play callers. This matchup, guys, is going to be about which team controls the clock and the tempo, and the better ground game and the superior defense both belong to the Hawkeyes here. Very underrated this season. They've taken 5-0 straight up in this series. They're getting points here, and I think it's a gift. It's a Christmas gift come early. Here's some ATS numbers for everyone. Iowa 6-2, their last 8 games played in the month of September. 7-2, the last 9 non-conference games. 6-1-1, their last 8 games played overall. They are money towards bettors. The Cyclones 0-4, their last 4 played in the month of September. 3-8, their last 11 non-conf. 2-3, their last 5 meetings in the series. I'm going to take Iowa here, folks. And if you join me, you're going to join me in taking your bookmaker's money, guys.
I like it. To me, that line looks a little funny, so I stayed away from it as far as the premium picks go, but may or may not have a little action personally on that thing. So, Joe, what do you think?
Which means you do. I'm going with Joe. How could I go against him? He just convinced me totally on this one. It wasn't one that is making my radar today, though. But if I'm betting it, I'm going with Joe all the way.
Double mojo there on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Joe, what else do you have for us?
Well, I wanted to give out something something very, very strong. And I do like the Iowa game, and I do have my own money on it. I did want to give out a premium play. Excuse me. Last week, one free play, and I will tell you that Rice team that was winning through 3 quarters outright and blew the game. I got some for them if they ever come to Vegas, but we did get paid. Everybody paid with my premium play on Cincinnati that I wanted to give out free. Another premium play, Mitch and Joe, that I really, really love, but I want to give our listeners and our viewers out there something very strongly. Sports fans, just because a game doesn't consist of Power 5 teams doesn't mean there isn't gold in them dar hills. The Liberty Flames weren't just a good team a season ago. They went 10-1 straight up, including a big bowl victory. They were also money to us bettors. The Flames went 9-2 against the spread in the 2020-2021 campaign. And guys, think of this. They rattled off 8 straight covers to finish the season. Every week, they just kept getting us paid and paid and paid. Quarterback, Malik Willis, what can you say? He is a stud. Just real quick, 64% completion rate last year, over 2,000 yards passing, 20 TDs, only 4 INTs, and another 900-plus yards and 14 more scores on the ground each game. Sports fans, this guy can start his own highlight reel every darn game. With him at the helm, opposing defenses stay on the field a long time. Come the second half, they run out of gas. Real quick flip side, Troy. Guys, they are a good team, but they're not a great team. Missouri transfer Quarterback Taylor Powell, he's good. He's got Trojan fans excited. However, overall, guys, they just don't have the personnel to compete in this contest, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. ATS numbers, Liberty, 8-0 last 8 non-conf, 6-1 the last 7 versus Sun Belt opponents, 23-8 the last 31 on the road. I'm laying the floor with the Flames. Let me try that again. My Hooked on Phonics books did not come in the mail yet, Chris. I'm still waiting for them. Lay the floor with the Flames, and you're going to burn your book here. This is a premium play, guys, today. I feel very strongly about it. I love it. I've got a ton of money on it. I'm going to bet more right after this show, and I'm going to move this line, so get it in early.
You freeze definitely always means business, and at Liberty, he's certainly brought it with him. And over there, this guy can recruit like no one's business. I mean, you don't get recruiting violations in the SEC all that easily. So this guy really knows what he's doing out there when it comes to bringing in top quality talent. So I gotta agree with you. At Liberty, man, they really cashed for us last year, even in the bad weeks that we won on Liberty.
Absolutely. I'd be looking at taking Liberty the first half as well. I think the line's around 3.5. If it hasn't moved from yesterday, what I was seeing, I think they're going to steamroll Troy. I think Liberty's offense is going to be way too much for Troy's defense here.
Yeah, we're seeing 5s out there now on this game. There was 4s and 4.5s earlier, but it's definitely moving up to 5s. So I see some 4s, though. There's some 4s. Yeah,
I think that first half, they come out, they lead by a touchdown at least. So I take them first half, full game. In this one, cover the spread. I
definitely see it. Joe, you have anything for sale at Pick Dogs for our audience?
Absolutely. I've got my gridiron play. There was 6-1 last year. My 63, 26-1 touchdown, one of the most successful plays I've released over the last 20 years that I've documented. My 26-7 consensus, my 30-10 wise guy, and my Holy War winner. I know those teams, and that's a very big play for me today. Over at Pick Dogs, some huge discounted programs, everyone. Join me here, and you're going to start your college football campaign off right. We also have some 3, 7, and 30-day discounted packages, and also something that you're not going to find anywhere else. This is why I love Pick Dogs. I love Mitch. Guys, you can team me up with one of the other cappers you're going to see here later on in the show. My Bash brother. He is my Bash brother, Brian Bitler. I love him. I adore him. I'm going to be with this other man next week, Chris Ruffalo. And don't worry, Chris, I have bail money on me. We'll be fine. We're not going to be locked up for more than 6 or 7 hours, but then again, we can make a lot of friends in lockup. And my buddy, Ronnie Sawacki, you always see his name on the leaderboards, or team me up with Mitch, guys. I mean, let me tell you, he's our fearless leader, and he's very humble. He does not promote himself. We got to promote him. He's always on those leaderboards. He's kicking butt and taking names, and pretty soon, I'm told, you can even team me up with the other cup of Joe in the morning, Joe Madden.
Absolutely.
Quite the team there, Joe.
I love it. Let me tell you, the 6 of us today, we could give me 5 generic people. We can beat any football team in the country.
Joe's got me buying picks now. Of course, if you're a premium, you get those premium picks, and we don't offer the discounts and coupons on those except for once a year or so. But I'll tell you, we just keep our prices fair all year round, and that's the way that we do business. But we appreciate you coming by, Joe. I always know that when Joe D'Amico says, real quick, sports fans, I like the over on that one. And, of course, we love having the over, and we love having you on, Joe. Thanks a lot for being part of our team here at Pick Dogs. Let's make it a winning day. And, of course, we'll see you tomorrow for NFL Sunday.
Mitch, Joe, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody out there, good luck. Have a winning day. Thank you.
Well, Joe, that was Joe D'Amico bringing the energy with us here. And I do like his picks that he gave there. I thought they were, that they were solid.
Absolutely.
We
got Jason in the comments saying he needs to be on every Saturday. Yeah. Great wake up.
Well, I think Joe's he's our good opening guy, because the other guys are kind of carrying segments. So the format of the show, and I kind of picked up on this last week because this is new and it's kind of a work in progress. I know people don't care about our, us formatting our shows and all that stuff. But the thing is that we're, this is a work in progress. And the way that I see it, and of course we rely on you guys to kind of help us, in this regard, is that so I see it having 3 main cappers that are going to cover segments of games the way that we did last week, and then have guys like Joe in the middle, and then in between those guys giving out a couple of games here and there. That's just what my vision, and I'm sticking to it. But
I think it's a great format. I love it. I love all the interaction. All you guys are putting, all the comments you're having there. So it's awesome, you guys. Great way to wake up on a Saturday before we watch these games.
Well, we're absolutely excited to have you as part of our team, Joe. It's like we're still in the kind of getting to know you phase, but so far we like what we see. That's for sure. That's what like most people, anyone that hasn't been here with Joe has been here. We brought her on board. She's not going to be the intro person. She's not going to be the, and today's prizes are, it's not what she's going to do. We're not going to record her saying, be sure to smash the like button and then throw her into videos. We're not going to do that stuff. She's a really good handicapper, and it's like that's why she's here. And we're excited that it's like a little different style. On most of the shows, the woman is sitting in where I'm sitting, and Joe's welcome to sit in the seat if she wants. We could switch it around. I don't care. But
I'll come to Hawaii. You can come to Canada. Let's switch that.
Well, I don't know about that. But how about if we both are in Hawaii? That works for me.
Okay, I can do that.
I could do that. But anyways, we're going to bring in Chris Ruffalo here, and hopefully I have him unmuted, but we'll figure it out when he gets here. But Chris, good morning.
Good morning. Reunited and feels so good.
He is there, bringing the sexy to the morning show. Chris Ruffalo, he's gone Hollywood on us. He's out in L.A. How's L.A. treating you?
It's the time change. I'm still trying to get my body clock used to it, and yesterday was a long way here. But you know what? I'm happy to be here. I wouldn't change it for anything. So I'm also happy to be here on the morning show. It's been a while, so I'm happy to be back.
That's the first time I think I've heard you refer to it as your body. Normally it's your temple, and so of course, so it's college football, and this is kind of so. Chris used to be a regular on our morning show. Now he's a co-host on the drive-through every day, Monday through Friday with Tony T. He'll probably be on these weekend shows plenty, with us, kind of like either covering a segment or being that, the in-between guy, whatever. We could always squeeze Chris in. So, Chris, I was talking to Joe the other day off camera, and I was talking about the coffee crisp that you and Rod had sent me, and she's like, "Well, how many of those did you eat in one sitting?" It was like, I don't know. So if you eat 2 coffee crisps, right, and then you go sit down on the couch, and you kind of realize that you have all these coffee crisps sitting there, and then you grab another one, does that count as one sitting, or is that a second sitting?
I think you just take each sitting as its own thing. You don't even count how many. You just keep hitting the reset button. It doesn't matter. The limit does not exist for coffee crisps in my world.
Yeah, those are good candy bar. Those of you that never had one, you have missed out. We actually turned Ron Romanelli onto those as well. So
yeah.
If you're trying to lose belly fat,
I can only eat one in one sitting. And getting up from the couch and going to get another one does not count as second sitting. Same sitting.
As I said, second sitting. Thanks for confirming. But Chris, you're going to cover the early games for us, and there's a lot of early action. There's, of course, what many consider the big game of the day. The other guys, I'm pretty sure the way that they did it is they picked whatever segment they wanted and threw you for this one, but they actually threw you to the biggest game of the day, and that's Ohio State, Oregon, and or at least one of the big games. There's a lot of big games today, but this is the big out of conference one. Of course, canceled last year at Outson Stadium in Oregon now, so it's now just in the Horseshoe at Columbus. And there's a lot of other good games here early, some under-the-radar stuff, some trap games. We've kind of got a good smorgasbord, as they say, and I know I'm not supposed to say that word around you, but I did. And Chris, you want to get us started with a couple games here?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, Mitch will tell you, restraint for me when it comes to picking games has been like me in front of the dessert case at the Cheesecake Factory. Restraint has been very, very hard. And today I found a handful of games that I like. I will tell you that Oregon-Ohio State game was not one of them that I decided to touch. I'd want to watch that rather be a fan because the whole Kayvon Thibodeau injury, his status being up in the air, it's making this number fluctuate. And, it's going to be a fantastic game. And I can tell you, Ryan Day and Mario Cristobal, that's going to be a coaching matchup if you've ever seen one. So that's...
Well, we're not going to let you off the hook without a pick just because you don't have
I'm leaning.
You know?
I am leaning towards Oregon in the points in that one. I just think that Oregon does have the talent to hang with Ohio State. We saw Minnesota, a team that maybe not a ton of us are high on, especially we know our history with PJ Fleck and in the Minnesota Golden Gophers. But I think the talent's there for the Ducks that they can at least keep it within a couple of touchdowns, maybe within 10 points. Thibodeau would make that a lot more interesting for the Oregon defense. But I just think that it's going to be a close game throughout, and I think there's a reason that this is regarded as one of the games of the day.
Yeah, Fleck is one of the few coaches that goes into a prevent defense and into basically victory formation down by 6, with 8 minutes left to go. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's a little too conservative for my taste. But anyways, we've got some other games going on here. Joe and I will have plenty to say about Ohio State and Oregon. I know Joe is an Ohio State fan. And
absolutely, go Buckeyes.
Of course, I'm a Ohio State, not fan. And
just wait till my jersey comes. I can't wait to wear it.
I'm telling you, my wife's grandfather played quarterback, started on some of their very best, most famous teams. So played in those really famous games, some of those really big ones. And but that was many, many years ago. Chris, what do you got to kick us off here in the early games? Do you want me to just go through them and you just spit them out? How would you like to go through this?
Well, I have 4 that I keyed in on for the morning slate.
All right, we'll ask you the ones that you're off balance on. So you get started on one, and then we'll just throw some curveballs at you.
That's fine. I eat them like nobody's business. The first one I was looking at, let's kick off the early action. I like this Illinois-Virginia matchup. I'm taking the Illini. I think that loss to UTSA, clearly just a bad sandwich spot for the Illini, coming off that win over Wisconsin. Excuse me. And UTSA, not a slouch by any means. With Frank Horace and Sincere McCormick, 2 of the better players in Conference USA and 2 of the more underrated players in not only the conference but in the country, in my opinion. And Virginia, I think that this is just where the line is going to just play into it. Virginia, to me, just doesn't seem like a team that's going to blow many teams out of the water. And, I think that sitting at 10.5, I think that hook's going to be huge because I see this being a max 10-point win for Virginia here. I think it's leaning more towards a touchdown, but I like the Illini and the points in that one.
Joe, any opinion on this one? This one starts in about a half hour.
You know what? I'd be looking at Virginia. I've got to say, I'm against you. I just don't think they have what it takes to beat them here, especially Virginia at home. So I'm going with Virginia. There's yeah. And I'd probably be looking at, we got total 56. I'd be heavier on this over 56. I think both offenses can definitely put up these points needed to get over 56. I'd see it being a 30, 35, 34. No, I don't know. No, I'm not touching the total. I was going to touch it. Not now. I'd go Virginia.
It's a tough one. I could see Chris's angle. A lot of leftover defensive players from the Lovie Smith administration there in Illinois. We saw some uneven play last week from Illinois, but this is their 3rd game of the season already. Meanwhile, Bronco Mendenhall, this guy can flat out coach. He coached at BYU and he's coaching at Virginia now, and I think he's ready to go next level. And in order to go next level, he has to win games like this. He has to. So. It's a big game for him. And, of course, that 11 a.m. Eastern time start kind of gives him a front and center stage. Chris, what else you got for us?
Well, excuse me, a lot of the action today you're going to see involving the MAC features MAC teams in high-profile games. And I'm going to take another one here. We just talked about the Golden Gophers. I'm going to take a shot with Miami, Ohio, and the points in that one. We saw what Miami, Ohio did in their first game against Cincinnati. The score doesn't necessarily reflect how they played in that game. They were down 42-0 to Cincinnati for most of it before 2 garbage touchdowns at the end. But you also look at Minnesota. This was a team that was high as hell going into that game against Ohio State, had their chances, and unfortunately, losing a top-tier running back like Muhammad Ibrahim is going to do a little bit of damage. And on a quick turnaround, early game at home, yes, Minnesota does have one of the tougher home field environments in all of college football, but this is a Miami, Ohio team. It's not going to, go down easily. And I think they can at least put up a bit of a fight here, keep this one within 17 or 18 points. And I think I like the value with Miami, Ohio and the points in this one.
Okay.
I'm with you. I'll ride that completely. I think they definitely can cover these points today.
Yeah, Miami of Ohio played a 3-game season last year, and I think last year they were locked and loaded. They were kind of ready to play, and they only got to play 3 games. So it was a disappointing season. I think this year, even, they're not going to see anything from Minnesota that they didn't see at Cincinnati last week, when they got busted up. I was surprised they got that busted up at Cincinnati. It'll be interesting to see if they hold up. I see a lot of people, VIP members and premium members, using their new emojis that I put out there for us. We got the Mitch emoji, we got the Brian emoji, the Rod emoji, the Mojo emoji, and we have the fillet of fish as well as the razor sharp emojis. I made these all myself. I'm not an emoji maker, but I used to play one in AOL chat rooms. Anyways, Chris, what else you got?
Another one. Another value play I liked. I like the points with Middle Tennessee against Virginia Tech. I know Virginia Tech coming off that big win against North Carolina, and they had an extra week to really prepare for this one. But I wasn't overly impressed with what I saw with Virginia Tech offensively in that win over North Carolina. Burmeister, he's the quarterback that can move the football, but we got to remember that Middle Tennessee is capable in their own right. They have an NC State transfer in Bailey Hockman under center who knows these ACC rosters, especially Virginia Tech. Didn't have as much success with against Virginia Tech in his time at NC State. I think he threw for 82 yards in his own start, but I think Middle Tennessee is just going to be up for this game. I see Virginia Tech, again, they're going to put the boots to Middle Tennessee early, but I could easily see the Blue Raiders sneaking in the back door and getting us a cover late in this one.
Joe, any take on this one?
The total of this, we got 54.5. Is that what you guys were saying?
Yeah, up from 54.
I'd go under. I think both these defenses will keep it under in this game. That would be definitely my best play with what we're seeing out of these defenses in week 1.
We saw some real sloppy quarterback play out of Middle Tennessee State last year, and like Chris said, now they have the NC State transfer. Virginia Tech did win last week against North Carolina, but they were about, like a double-digit underdog in that game. So, you have to wonder, on paper, if they really do have the talent or if they were just really well prepared, because Justin Fuente at Virginia Tech hasn't strung together winners in big games like that. And traditionally, Virginia Tech has a clunker in one of these spots. It might not be this week. It could be next week. But it's like, this is the team that, gets taken to the map by Citadel on an annual basis. So, yes, we have the fillet of fish emoji. I made it myself.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I made all the emojis. I made the Joe Madden Mojo emoji.
I can't believe we had the fillet of fish. That's awesome.
I'm gonna spend more than 10 seconds on these, and I'll make some more of them. We can make up to like 25 emojis and put them out there, but I'll make a whole bunch of them. We'll have fun ones. Maybe
I love it.
Gotta have fun with it. But
Can we have a meat sweats emoji or a fruit plate emoji?
We could have a fruit plate emoji. Fruit cup, not available.
And I think that was the last time you were in Vegas, the time that we went to the Peppermill.
Yeah, time I got COVID. That was the time I got COVID. Also known as the Vegas trip I got COVID. I went back and looked at those videos after the Vegas trip when I'm doing the videos with COVID. And I'm like, and people are like typing in the comments like, "You look really sick." And I said in the thing, I'm like, I never say this, but I'm really sick.
And we're just sitting here just like, go get some rest.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. And I'm like, no, go now.
Anyways. Chris, what else you got here for us?
All right, my last one, and I think we got to pull up Mitch's president of the Dan Mullen fan club card for this one, but mainly because I remember that tweet throwing up, what was it, 21 points with 59 seconds to go. He takes a deep shot last week.
Yeah, laying 23, up by 21, throwing shots into the end zone.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there for me. But, I do think that as much as it pains me to say it, and I know Ron's going to be on me for this one, but I'm going to take Florida against USF. USF just looked absolutely terrible against NC State last week. This was an NC State team that, many are projecting to finish in the higher half of the ACC standings, potentially make a run for the ACC title game if a bunch of stuff goes their way. But USF, couldn't do anything right. And what does this team struggle with? They struggle to stop the ball, and they don't do well. Sorry, they struggle to keep to stop the run. And when it comes to offense, well, they can't throw the ball, and those are the two things I think Florida really excels at: running the football, especially with Emory Jones, a quarterback. And well, we all know how ferocious the Florida Gators pass rush can be. We saw with guys like Jabari Zuniga. There's someone online this year. His name is escaping me right now, but they have a sack machine on the defensive line, defensive end, I believe. I think this is just another bad spot for South Florida. Playing a Gators team that could easily win this one by at least 5 touchdowns. So I'm going to lay the points with Florida in this one.
Joe, any thoughts?
Absolutely. Same way. I'll take Florida. I got it at yesterday. We're looking minus 28. Definitely, I'd even take it minus 30 for them to cover this. South Florida struggles so much. They had such quarterback issues. I don't even know who we're going to see out in quarterback today. They lost that first game 45-0. Like, give me Florida all day long.
Yeah, North Carolina State looked terrible at quarterback in that game too against South Florida, but didn't matter. And this game, while South Florida is the home team, the game is in Tampa for this one, right? So that's where they're based out of. So not all that far from Gainesville. So we know the Gator fans travel well, and I'm going to imagine that they're going to pack the place. And I'd also, this game, because it's two Florida teams, even though Florida basically gets their pick of recruits in the state of Florida, they, at the same time, this is for, there'll be some recruiting wars that could be settled here, especially with the local players. So, of course, it's a big one. But anyways, Chris, any games outside of this that, you want to talk about briefly?
Yeah, the one that I'll give honorable mention to, I think this will kind of lead into the next time slot. I'm going to take a shot with my Ball State against Penn State. Ball State getting the points. I'm a Drew Plitt fan, and this is a Ball State team that I have winning the MAC, and Penn State coming off an emotional win over Wisconsin. And Tony T and I talked about this on the drive when he gave us as a pick earlier in the week. It almost seemed like Penn State was shocked that they got out of Camp Randall with a win. They're like, wait a minute, we won this game, and then just left. It was just like, all right. And then it was just, I think this is just going to be a bit of a letdown spot for Penn State after that win. Miami, Ohio. This is one of the bigger games on their schedule, if not the biggest game. Is going to be their Super Bowl before they get into conference play, and I like the value of Ball State. I could easily see this one staying within 3 touchdowns, if not within 20 points, if you want to take the line down a little bit. So I'm going to take Ball State and the points in this one.
Awesome. Joe, any thoughts on that one? I'm sure we'll cover this one in a future time slot.
I'm scared to take this one. I'm scared to take Ball State. I have Penn State circled in my notes to take this. I'm not sure if the line's moved. If it moves higher.
It has moved up higher. I saw Penn State moving up to in the 22.5 range. Up from 20. Let me see where it is now. I'm showing 22.5s, 22 at some of the offshores, but mostly 22.5s with heavy juice.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know if I want to touch this. Penn State might be someone I'd throw in a huge parlay.
23 at Caesars. Got to shop the lines. Got to shop.
Yeah, exactly. So getting up to 23, 24, I'd take Ball State plus the points. But again, it's another one that just scares me. I don't want to lay it with Ball State. I'd be looking at the under in this game too. That's why I'm kind of like, I don't know how much they're going to be able to do.
Well, Chris, you have a package of picks that you're selling today. Is it make your own Sunday, Saturday?
Oh, that would have been a good one. I almost went Saturday smorgasbord so I could copyright that. But today I got my shotgun Saturday 5-pack. I got, it's like I said, trying to reel it in, put out the best of the best, the creme de la creme, and that's what I've got today. 5 plays on the board I absolutely love. And if you're not lucky enough to get in on the afternoon action, keep your eyes peeled because I'm going to have 3 plays available from that package later on in the day for the evening to make sure everybody gets their fix in. But check that out. And, I couldn't have said it any better than Joe D'Amico. The value's all over at Pick Dogs. You can pair 2 of us up. That's some of your best value. 2 hardworking cappers for 1 awesome price. There's everyone up there is gonna have some great college football action going for you guys today. So definitely go over and check it out.
Well, Chris, thanks a lot. You going to be with us tomorrow?
If you'll have me, I'll be here.
All right, we'll think
Let's talk some NFL tomorrow. I can't wait.
I think we could squeeze you in.
Careful using the word "squeeze me in" because that is a very tight fit.
Yeah. I did a year doing the middle airplane seat with Ruffalo and Sawacki, so it's some tight quarters. Man. Got the middle seats. Like these are the two guys. That's kind of like, oh, you're small. You don't take up the whole seat. It's like, well, I'll just help myself to the rest of it. Definitely got squeezed in the middle there. But anyways, Chris, thanks.
It's like the one Oreo that had all the cream squished out of it. It's just the two little cookies. It's barely got anything in the middle.
Been there, done that, and did simulated video game handicapping in the process during the COVID break. But anyways, Chris, thanks for joining us. We will see you tomorrow right here on Pick Dogs.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. Everyone have a winning day. Put in some winners.
That was Chris Ruffalo. And boy, he showed solid restraint there with just 5 picks in his premium. So he must really be dialed in and like those. Ruffalo, known for putting out a real, a diner menu full of games. You go to the diner and they just have like these 19 pages. You can't figure out what the hell you want. It's like they have too many choices. That's normally Ruffalo's package. But yeah, Joe, anything that Chris might have left out there, in those morning games, like he didn't really talk about the Ohio State, Oregon. He we tried to corner him in, but
how can we not talk about Ohio State and Oregon Ducks today? I'm loving this game. I can't wait to watch it. We better not go too long today because I'm going to be distracted definitely by what's happening in this. Totally all over the over in this one. I think we've got a super high scoring game. I am worried about Ohio State's defense. What we saw last week, they were pretty shaky against Minnesota. I think the Ducks do play it tight. I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks plus the points. I think these are two of the best programs in all of college football. And I think the coaching staff is not going to let this one be a blowout for Ohio State from the Ducks. So I'm going to take the Ducks plus the points. And I think Oregon doesn't get the win, but they cover it.
I think I'm with you on that one. I think that I like Oregon with the points. I know someone that has a little bit on the money line as well. So I just for the heck of it.
Yeah, and I think this over is easy money because when we're looking at both these teams, they've got good defenses, but not defenses that should be what I want to see out of them from the last game, right? So I think both these offenses are going to completely control the field when they're on the field. So I'm looking for, it could be an 84-point game like we saw. Who got 84 points last time?
Yeah,
it was a huge total.
I believe it. I believe we're going to see it. So at Pick Dogs, Joe and I have a show on Wednesdays called The Office Pool. And what it is, it's NFL Pick'em, just straight without the spreads. You just put your picks in the comments. It's 100% free to enter. It's cash prizes. It's all explained how the cash prizes work in the video and on the page where that is. And I encourage everyone to enter. The more entries that we get each week, I will continue to raise the prize pools because we do have a sponsor for the pool. It's me. So we will. You guys have seen me in action before. So I'm not the best negotiator in the world on that stuff. So we could easily raise the contest every week. But I'm going to put a link in the chat of this to that video so you guys can enter. So office pool free cash price. Just follow the rules.
I love it.
And we'll reveal the winner each week, and each week we'll do it. I like doing these. Joe and I are doing a bunch of different shows. I really like these things. I've been doing this for a long time, but actually, sometimes it becomes a grind. But I'll tell you, with Joe, I'm having fun. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad she's here.
Well, that's good to hear. I'd hate to hear if you're having a terrible time with me.
Well, if I was, I would definitely say it because everyone knows I say exactly what you see is what you get, almost to a fault. But speaking about what you see is what you get, we're going to bring in Rod, one of our morning co-hosts, but I don't know if we could hear him. Rod, you there? Yeah, he's muted. We got to figure out how to get him back.
Well, you work that out. Which is the other emoji? You did the fillet of fish, and what is the other one?
Is that better?
Yes, you're better. Now we hear him. So the fillet of fish, the other one is a razor on a sharpening stone, a straight razor on a sharpening stone.
Okay.
We're going, I'm working. I literally spent about 5 minutes.
It.
I used the image that I used to make the thumbnail the other day from our Circa pics.
Yeah.
I used that image of you. I used an image that I had of me that I used for thumbnails. So we just threw them together.
I love it. I always wanted to be an emoji. I didn't even know I wanted to be, and now I am.
Well, we'll have some new emojis. We'll have the mojo, we'll have like with the, we have to do we'll do a shoot. But Rod, welcome to our morning show. Of course, I see you every day. We're basically joined at the hip for the last couple of years here. It's college football Saturday. Of course, it's our favorite time of the year, favorite day of the week. At least for me. I know Rod says that when they do the outdoor hockey games and stuff. But
yeah, get all excited. I'm still excited for today. There's definitely some great value here to make some money.
Well, you're here to cover the middle games. How many games you got for us today in this middle section?
1, 2. See, I'm going to be the other. I think I got a few more than Ruffalo. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 we can touch on here.
Well, we better get started then. So get rolling with the first one.
Well, the first one we're going to start off. We're looking at one that Joe touched on one of his plays, Liberty versus Troy. I like the over in that one. You look Liberty, they're 6-1 their last 7 on the road to the over. They're also 6-2 their last 8 as a favorite to the over, following a win. And you look at this Trojan team; they're not as bad either. Just like you said, they're a pretty good team. They're going to put points on the board as well. They're 9-1 to the over their last 10 home games versus a team with a winning road record. For me, the offenses are way ahead on both these teams, and we're going to see some points. I love the over. Take the over, Liberty and Troy, because I think Troy's going to put up some points as well. I don't think it's going to be a one-sided blowout here in this one. I think Liberty might be a little bit overrated. Troy's got a shot to outright him here, but I'm going to take the over. I think we see a whole bucket of points in this one and get us over the total.
Joe, you're a total person. Did you give the total pick before? I know I'm on Liberty. We already said this, but
yeah, I'm on Liberty all the way today. Those stats are pretty tight for taking the over, so let's go the over as well.
All right.
I'm on both. I like both. Rod sold me. I wasn't looking at the total in this one. I just saw Liberty and I saw money, so.
I saw money, but Joe D'Amico sold me his package. It's like Joe D'Amico's like I'm buying his package from my site. Rod, what do you got next?
Next one we got where Huff taking over in this place on Marshall, and they look great in week 1, and I'm going to lay that big giant number. I think it's a minus 40 something. I see 42, 43. So where I see that number at. And the Herd 4-1 ATS their last 5 after scoring 40 plus points in a previous game. They're also 19-9 their last 30 in September. And you look, the team they're going against, they're 2-10 their last 12 games. They're also 1-8 ATS their last 9 in September. This Marshall team's going to run right over. I like Huff. He's a nice coach. Give me Marshall. I think that's a blowout in that one all day.
Marshall playing North Carolina Central today. The Hawks 43.5 is the number in this one. Joe, this is your style of game. North Carolina Central coming off a win last week.
Yeah, so it could be a letdown spot. I don't know. This is one that I looked at and there was nothing jumping off the page for me. So I would probably look. Yeah, I'm passing.
Yeah, I
really want to say I want to go one way or the other, but
no,
I don't.
Sometimes, I mean, on a big card, being able to pass on games is really what half of it's all about. I could see Rod's angle here because North Carolina Central really isn't much to write home about, and we've seen them against the big boys in the past, and so in 2018 they played Duke and lost 55-13. They played Duke in 2017, lost 60-7. Western Michigan 70-21. So they've been on the wrong side of the scoreboard most of the time. They play Duke or East Carolina, one of the Carolina schools, when they're doing this. So a trip to West Virginia, a little bit different outside of the norm for North Carolina Central. The one thing I worry about in these games, when you have these big spreads, is this is the game because of the redshirt rules where you have to play in at least 3 games and you can retain your redshirt if you play 3 games or less. That this is the game where they empty the bench. And when they empty the bench, if it's not like a shutout or something that you're trying to preserve, well, anything can happen. So always a little leery with the big spreads, but hey, it's your money. Rod, what do you like?
Next one, we're going to go with another over here. I think we see a whole pile of points. SMU and University of North Texas here. Mean Green, 5-1 to the over their last 6 as a dog. They're 4-1 their last 5 non-conference games to the over. SMU 8-3 to the over their last 11, and the overs 13-5 following a nice ATS win for SMU, and they looked really good in their week 1 win there. And Mean Green last year, their defense was not good, and it's not going to be greatly improved this year. They gave up buckloads of points last season. I like the over in this one. We got a good chance this could get hit 100. But give me the over. SMU, University of North Texas.
Joe?
Okay, so you're not going to like me. I'm going the under. I think it's too many points. I'm looking at North Texas to keep it tight and to cover the spread in here. So I think I'll go that under. I think 73 is high. High. If it was 60 something, I'd go under. I think it hits high 60s, not 70s.
Joe Madden's tough. She's tough. She's not.
I know, and Rob's writing this down, and tomorrow I'm going to hear, "Hey Joe."
Yeah, that's okay.
So.
It's okay. Joe's not here to hype. She's not the hype woman. She's not any of those things. She's here to she brings it, and she's got a record to prove it already that she's building. So, no problem. We certainly don't always agree on our shows, and that's why we have multiple people, multiple opinions, and there's multiple bets out there on each and every game. So, no problem at all. I don't have an opinion in this game, but I do have a question for Rod. Rod, on your home run props yesterday on the show, who'd you pick?
My home run prop yesterday?
Yeah. I know who it was, but I'm just asking. I'm asking you for the hell of it. Okay. It didn't hit. I don't know.
I took Judge.
Right.
Aaron
and
Judge.
I took.
And you took Mullins, Cedric Mullins from
right. So
Baltimore.
So I took Cedric Mullins and you took Aaron Judge. So you think Cedric Mullins was kind of a mainstream pick for a home run prop? Do you think that was it's plus 600, right?
No. So
the probability of someone out there giving out as their picks after, at a time after our show, like on Twitter as a Twitter handicapper, giving out prop bets on Aaron Judge and Cedric Mullins. What are the probability of that? I would say pretty slim. And
slim to none. Yeah, I think Slim just left the building.
We have a premium member that's basically taking our picks and tweeting them out as his own.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, not okay. So
that's not okay.
We will strike with a vengeance. Just asking you your take on it. I know that's out there, but not cool.
Yeah, that's not good. Not cool at all.
Not cool. I just double checking. I thought it was Aaron Judge. I was pretty sure it was, and I know mine was Cedric Mullins, who did hit a home run. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I don't even care if he did or didn't. But I think I don't know. We'll have to figure this one out together. But we know everyone knows. We don't let this stuff slide. We don't just we're good with it. It's not going to happen.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
it's disappointing to hear.
Yeah, it's pathetic, but it is the way of the world, and it's not the guys that are being mentioned in the comments. It's somebody else, and I know who it is, right? So it's like it's ridiculous, and it's like this is the only thing I've ever seen them do. So it's like I'm going to guess that they've been doing this for a while. I think some of the other picks. One was Joe's pick on North Dakota. Was another pick that they gave out. Another one of Joe's premium picks. So, yeah, not okay. Anyways.
Yeah, that's not okay at all. Do your own work.
Yeah, let's
Pick
go.
your own pick.
Well, I know Rod's a bulldog when it comes to this stuff, so we're gonna release the hounds on this guy. Rod, anyways, go. Let's get back to the happy stuff and the good stuff. But I just, I wanted to run this by you. I didn't. It's unrehearsed, but I'm not gonna let it go. That's for sure.
No, it makes me mad. That's not cool at all. It's like,
well.
Anyways, that's on to get us solving.
Well, generally these turn into opportunities for all of our readers and all of our listeners and all of our viewers, because normally we just, we take a group effort and we let them know it isn't okay. But anyways, go ahead, Rod. What else you got?
What else we got? I like the under here in UAB, Georgia. Two teams with two solid defense. We've seen Georgia's defense in their first game in UAB just as well. They got a solid defense, ranked 5th after week 1. Georgia ranked 7th after week 1. You look at UAB, they're 7-1 to the under their last 8 games after allowing less than 20 points in the previous game. Georgia 5-1 to the under their last 6 non-conference games. Both defenses on these two teams are solid. I'm going to take the under. Like a low-scoring, hard-hitting battle of the defenses in this one.
I couldn't agree more, Rod. That's exactly what I'm thinking for this game. Took the words right out of my mouth.
We have.
I like when I agree with you.
I like it too. Those ones usually come in and they're money. So.
We have 660 people watching, which is awesome. And so be sure to smash that like button and keep coming back, of course, and subscribe if you haven't. So we do this every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. A little different format during the week. And then, of course, on the weekends, this is our new format, which I really like. Is that all for you, Rod, or you have more? You have another one?
Got one more. And then the Battle of Iowa here. Iowa versus Iowa State. I like the under in this one. I think we're going to see a hard-hitting beat each other up. You look, Iowa 9-1-1. They're to the under their last 11 after allowing less than 100 yards rushing in the previous game. Cyclones 5-0 to the under their last 5 at home, and the last 6 meeting between these two teams 4-1-1 to the under. You see a hard hitting game here. Take the under, low scoring.
Joe.
Yeah, the under looks pretty solid. I also like Iowa to take under. Just go under. I was gonna say I like Iowa, but then I went to say Iowa State. My head was saying Iowa. So I'm not taking a side. I'm just going to take the under in this one.
I'll just take Iowa money line on something like that. If it's a coin flip and you're getting points, I just can't help myself. I got to just take the odds. I believe the game is a coin flip. So I think if I'm getting plus money on one side, taking them on even side of a coin flip, that puts the odds in my favor.
Okay, now I remember this game. My head was trying to remember. This is where Iowa isn't the favorite. They're at home.
Correct.
This line should be flipped. Iowa plus points all day.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah.
All day. Rod, any other games outside of this? Any pick in Oregon, Ohio State, or any other game outside of this?
Oh yeah, I like Oregon this year, so they're the team that I'm going to ride, and you're going to give me 14.5 points with the Ducks here. I'll take it. Give me the Ducks plus the 14.5. I'm really hoping they beat them outright. So give me the Ducks.
Well, what do you got for sale today? Steak Saturday or tackle the books Saturday, or what do we got?
Nope, we got a Super Saturday package where I've got seven plays that I absolutely love, 7 best bets, and then we got some morning ones, we got some midday ones, we got some afternoon ones. Jump aboard, 7 best bets on today's action. Didn't touch a baseball game at all today, so I took a nice little pass on the MLB card. It's all football, all gridiron. Jump aboard, Big Dogs Premium Super Saturday.
Well, be sure to use your be sure to use your rod emoji there, and of course, I should have added a bus emoji. I'll get one. Put in there as well.
Definitely need a mouth.
And we'll also get like a mouth, putting words in the mouth. We'll get a words in the mouth and a bus emoji. I'll have those for tomorrow's show. But thanks for joining us, Rod. And of course, you can see Rod with me every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and of course here on the weekends with Joe Madden and the gang. So thanks again, Rod, and we're going to see you tomorrow, right, for NFL Sunday?
You bet. We'll definitely be around for NFL Sunday. And this time today, I will mute the mic, so that way when I talk to the dog over here and he gets all excited and starts barking and yelping, we won't hear.
Works for us.
Love it. Okay, so Mitch, what do you think of this Rutgers and Syracuse game? We have Mr. Smith saying he's going with Rutgers.
Well,
this is one I was been looking at, and I'm on the fence.
Well, what we saw from Syracuse last week on the road was a really strong effort by Dino Babers' team at Ohio, who generally plays up in those type of spots, but just did not have it last week. Ohio also one of the biggest party schools in the country too, so maybe maybe they were getting a little bit too much pregame warm up there for that one. But Syracuse, you can't take anything away from them. We saw we saw the quarterback who was super highly recruited. And it was a big disappointment last year. Actually played really well, and we saw a lot of that ability. They had some big physical backs. Rutgers, though, returns a ton from last year's team, 20 players, 20 starters from last year's team. So they are super tough as well. Kind of like Rutgers here. The line is kind of pushed up a little higher in this game. I think it opened at 1. I think we're about 2.5 right now.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a physical game. It's an interesting one in the respect of the way the schools have to play this, because they're in that area of the country where there isn't a lot of other teams. So the New York metropolitan area, these are really the two teams of the New York metropolitan area. A lot of Syracuse alumni in New York, along with Rutgers is probably geographically the closest program to there. So this is a big game, geographically for them as well.
Absolutely. I just love what I saw out of Rutgers' defense last week. They did get 3 sacks, and they held them to only 10 first downs, which is completely crazy, winning that game 61-14 over Temple. So I do like Rutgers in this position. You're right about Syracuse, though. They did win that game with such a strong rushing attack on offense. And
it was a physical attack.
Their third down conversions were incredible.
It looked almost like SEC running backs, but maybe that is because they were playing against a MAC team. But it was that physical style of play that you could really lean on, and it probably made the quarterback play. It probably really helped the quarterback play as well. So it's definitely one on my radar. So I'll definitely be watching that one. In that time slot is the Notre Dame Toledo game, and no one touched on this thing, but so they moved the Notre Dame game to the Peacock network. They're not even showing it on regular NBC. They're showing it on the Peacock network, and you need to be a Peacock premium subscriber to watch this. How close are we getting to season ticket pay-per-view to watch college football? I mean,
we're
this
seconds
is
away.
close.
Seconds away.
It just seems like it, because I know I pay for the NFL game plan on DirecTV, and I have basically a sports book set up in my living room, but Notre Dame, that they paid so much money for those TV rights, and now you put them on the Peacock app.
I haven't even heard of the Peacock app, so I think that's crazy, but I think it's because of COVID. I think everything that happened with COVID, they've got to generate some income back.
Yeah, I mean, Disney got me with Hamilton. They got me. I had to see it. I had seen it on Broadway in New York, and I had to see it again on Disney. So they got me for 1 month, and I don't think the Peacock's going to get me with the Toledo Notre Dame game. There's too many other good games on against it that I would watch. But I just thought that was a strange thing. But we'll bring Brian in to the show, and He's our last guest of the day, but he's not really a guest. He is kind of a fixture here. Brian and I are semi-married. See each other every day and argue like a married couple for the most part. So, Brian, it is Saturday college football. Last week you took names. It was all your type of teams that were coming in. The public was just, I mean, they were bruised for the most part last week. I kind of treaded through there, and I knew where I was on the wrong side before the games even kicked off, and the other ones that I was on, and I knew I was on the right side, but last night, two very public winners.
Yeah, I got bruised pretty bad last night, and I'm hoping that this Saturday is like last Saturday, even better, actually. I think you're going to see a real public bruising, but I guess I say that every week. So, but I love the card. I
think if you find the right spots, you could always find your way. Where do you want to start off here?
Well, my first play, and I think it's my best play, one that almost made my premium list, is Washington at Michigan.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh has paid for a good portion of I'm the same person that I was back in 2008 when I was doing this on the college football place, but I just have some nicer stuff, and I'd like to say that Jim Harbaugh has helped me pay for this at the various locations that he's been. He seems to find a way to get the least out of his players. What are you thinking here?
Well, up in my game right up here, I said this game's close to a premium for me as we catch Washington at a great value here. Remember, they were ranked coming into the season, and they got caught on a major look-ahead spot and got beat outright at home by Montana. Michigan, though, they are a perennial underachiever. And I think at least this year, Jim Harbaugh is about a year past his due date of being fired. Michigan getting far too much credit for that Western Michigan blowout. Washington nowhere near what they showed us last week. Wolverines just 1-10 against the spread versus the Pac-12 last 11. I'm going to ride the Huskies plus 2 points.
Jim Harbaugh does have a nice record against unranked teams at home. Joe?
Yeah, I'm going to go the Huskies too. They're 17-3 in their last 20 games. I think they're the strongest team here, and I was actually surprised that they were the dog.
I personally can't remember the last time I bet on Michigan. I just can't even remember. But I know that
Michigan.
I know that I've laid some really big bets against them. I know that.
I've cashed on Michigan before.
I lost last week betting against Michigan. I did. I had Western Michigan in that one.
Yep, I lost that one too.
You have another play for us, Brian?
In my second game, and a rare favor for me, UNLV at Arizona State. For that game, Arizona State off a bad season here. I think they are out to get that season in the rearview mirror, and they get use UNLV tonight as a punching bag. I think Arizona State could get the over tonight by themselves. I see them putting up somewhere in the 50s. UNLV lost to Eastern Washington last week outright. Arizona State beats this team by 40 tonight. Take the Sun Devils minus the 34.5.
UNLV's terrible. Joe?
Yeah, I'd like the over in this one. I think it's over 54. If that hasn't moved up, I think UNLV will score enough points for this to come that over. So, yeah, I'm looking at it.
Both these teams are just civ defenses, that's for sure. Arizona State not going to have a lot of opportunities for wins. They are 1-0. They have a chance to go to 2-0 here, so I can see them getting it done. They do have good athletes there.
I think they're going to be improved over last season. I think
it's going to be tough not to be improved. I mean, they've been an absolute
they're a bowl team this year. I think.
Straight garbage the last few years. What else do you like? Anything else on this board?
Yeah, my last game on the card tonight, I'm going to ride BYU plus the points here. It's a huge rival game between these two teams, and there's no love lost between them. BYU, I think, has an excellent chance to get a win over a Pac-12 team. This game really should set the tone for the rest of the season. I think 6-7 is a ton of points here for Utah to be laying on the road. Also a revenge spot for BYU. BYU lost last year 30-12. I'm going to take BYU plus I think it's 6.5.
I think that was 2 years ago that they played. I don't think they played last year, did they?
Oh, well, then my notes are wrong, but I thought it was
I'll
last
take a
year.
look.
Maybe
I think that there was no out of conference for the for
okay.
last year. So that was 2 years ago. Last year, BYU had that killer team with Wilson, and they didn't get to play against Utah, and then they've lost some of that talent. It's a tough one. It's the Holy War, you know. It's
These two teams hate it. These two teams don't like each
Joe,
other.
anything
That's
on
a
the
tough-
Holy War?
Yeah, I'm going with Utah. I think Utah comes out and wins this. I've got too many questions around BYU now without Zach Wilson. I don't think they'll be able to get it done. And what I saw out of their defense, I'm not seeing a defensive performance that I think can beat.
Yeah, if Arizona puts points on you like that, then
Yeah.
you might have some problems.
Arizona's not that bad.
Oh my God! it's like you want to have like a coach that was a winner somewhere else. You want to just ruin his resume. Just give him the Arizona job. That's what it's been
That'll be Harbaugh's next
in
stop
recent
in
years.
Arizona.
I think Harbaugh ends up at like one of those like Wyoming State jobs. That's where those guys
No.
usually end up, something like that. He'll end up in the booth.
Brian, is
Yeah,
it still 6.5 on that game?
Last time I looked, it was 6.5, 7 in spots, but I haven't looked in about 45 minutes. So,
Okay,
I'm showing sevens.
all right.
up to 7.
I
Six
think
and a
that's
half,
my least
6.5,
favorite out of the
7.
three.
6.5 at some of the offshores. 6.5 at DraftKings. Minus 120 on the juice. But I'm still seeing sevens at some of the New Jersey books. Pinnacle 6.5. Most of the offshores are at 6.5. Bet 365 at 6.5. This game is late though, so I think this line is going to shift. Anything outside of these outside the time zone?
Oh, good. Now I get to throw people under the bus. This is the bus throw. Yeah, for me, I like the Ohio State Buckeyes minus the 14.5 points. I just think this was a circle game for both teams. I think Ohio State's really going to be turning up the heat. Last week, I think against Minnesota, you didn't see the best of Ohio State. I think you'll see it against an Oregon team that, if that injury might not have happened, maybe I would have looked harder at Oregon. I just think Ohio State's just going to pummel them. And I like the App State Mountaineers today against Miami. I think App State defense should be able to keep them within a touchdown of the Hurricanes. And it wouldn't shock me if App State beat them outright, but I think just take the points for safety.
I could see 38-21 Miami in that one. But what we're seeing here, looking at the lines, real quick, we're going to be doing the premium show after this. So if you're not a premium member, this is the time of year to do it. Right now, between now and March Madness, you're going to get a zillion really good picks. Of course, not to be redistributed on your Twitter account. But we have, it seems to me that most of the pressure this morning on the lines, as I look at the board, is on the favorites. The money is coming in on the favorites here across the board. Almost every
big time.
Almost all the lines are going higher. I'm seeing 15s in the Ohio State-Oregon game. I'm seeing, back to 19-20 in that Minnesota game. I'm seeing, the only dog here that I'm really seeing the pressure on is Tulsa. A lot of bets coming in here on Tulsa. A lot of money.
I think App State's dropping to 7.5 in a spot.
I'll be pounding that later on. I have a lot of money. I have a lot of money line action today that I had like the extra money in my sports.
Yeah. What if they lose out? What if the Hurricanes lose outright? What's going to happen? There's going to be problems in Miami.
They'll be 0-2, I guess. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's they're not.
What does the Tulsa game move to?
The Tulsa game is down to. I'm showing 11s and 11.5s.
Oh wow!
I see.
Wow.
There's a
Down a
10.
whole point.
There's a 10 with big juice at Pinnacle. 11.5. 11.5s. Mostly 11s and 10.5s though.
Has the total moved?
Total is 51.
Okay.
So, yeah, Oklahoma State not overly impressive last week, and of course Tulsa lost to UC Davis. So kind of like that Washington-Michigan scenario, where Washington, Montana's not a bad team. They're not. They could take out a lot of teams in at the FBS level, like Kansas.
They could beat UNLV.
They'd be favored against Vandy or Kansas. But anyways, Brian, thanks for joining us. What do you got for sale? any limit?
Oh, I had one more. Yeah, I was going to throw one more pick out
go
there
ahead.
real quick.
Oh,
I disagree with my Bash brother Joe D'Amico here. I like Troy plus the 4.5 points against Coastal Carolina. I think Coastal Carolina was the team. Liberty.
Yeah,
Liberty and Coastal.
Easy. I always
Liberty
get
and
those two
Coastal.
confused.
Those two teams were like the surprise teams last year. They're not a surprise anymore, and I think you're going to see a lot of people humping up here on Liberty. I got their T-shirt downstairs. I'm a Liberty guy, but today I'm going to roll with Troy plus the points, and I'm going to sell my prime 3-pack today of college football. I have 5 premium plays, but I put my 3 best bets in a pack for $40 at pickdogs.com. I'm looking for a 3-0 sweep today, so make sure you check it out.
Yep, sounds like a solid deal. Of course, Brian, always one of the top college football handicappers, so be sure to take advantage of it and win. Of course, Brian, we'll see you tomorrow right here on our NFL show as we get the NFL season started. And, of course, every day here on Pick Dogs with me and Rod and Joe sometimes. I don't know. We're still working on Joe's schedule. She kind of pops. She's a popper. She pops in. She does the
She's allowed to pop in.
She does the pop in. We like the pop in. It's like
Pop in, yeah.
Living in Hawaii, you love the pop in. Everyone does.
You're lucky I'm not your neighbor. I'd be popping in.
No, the neighbors
day.
pop in all the time. Usually bringing fruit. Like, see, the thing is, you have like these big fruit trees. Everyone has a lot of fruit, and it all comes in at the same time. So then when the neighbor does the pop in, normally they got a big bag of mangoes or lychee or something.
I'd bring my towel with me if I was coming.
We have the Lilikoi. We go and bring it around to people. We got tons. Got a woman in our neighborhood now that makes Lilikoi pie. I saw it. My wife is like on the neighborhood bulletin board. Like they won't.
What is that?
Lilikoi?
Yeah.
It's passion fruit, but the one that we have is like a sweet version. They call it Jamaican Lilikoi.
Oh, delicious!
Grow it. Oh, it's off the chain. It is ridiculous. It's so
I love it.
Yeah, we grow all kinds of fruit here. We could have a whole show on that. I did during.
Okay, I want to ask you guys a quick question before Brian leaves. What do you think of Purdue and UConn today?
Ooh.
I want to know on this. UConn fired their head coach Monday. Defensive coordinator stepped up in his place. Well, they haven't fired him. He's stepped down. He'll
It's
retire.
at Connecticut, right? This game.
Yeah.
At Connecticut.
Yeah, and I think it's a huge spread on this one. I have it circled on my notes.
I'd take a shot on UConn here. I would take a shot.
Yeah, I would go. You have to be a really crappy team for me to not be on my radar. But I kind of skipped over UConn today. But I would take them with the points if I had to bet it.
Oh, they're
terrible. They're 0-2 right now. But I actually believe when a head coach either gets fired or steps down, the new coach comes in, that these players are playing for their life just to make a statement.
Yeah, they usually there is like that rejuvenation that happens, and also Purdue's not a team that has been consistent on the road at all under this administration. I think that so far Purdue has kind of missed the mark. It's like they went with the big hire. They got Braum from Louisville, and he hasn't really delivered for them. They haven't really gotten over the hump. They haven't challenged, Ohio State or any of those guys. I mean, we haven't seen like a Purdue team that really was a challenger since Drew Brees played there.
Yeah, I don't see them as a 5 touchdown winner today, but
no, I think it's too big. Definitely too big. So.
All right. Anyways, Brian, we'll see you in a couple minutes for the premium show, and we're going to do the premium picks video, and then we're going to we wait about 5 minutes, and then we'll do the VIP show. But
sounds good.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks for your picks and for joining us, and just a little disappointed we didn't have a no limit play from you.
Maybe next week.
So you're always putting a limit on it.
I do have my non-conference SEC. Yeah, I'm sorry, my non-conference game of the month this week. So we'll see.
All right, non-conference game of the month, which is good because it's the non-conference portion of the schedule, so it makes a lot of sense. Okay, we'll see you in just a couple minutes. Thanks again. Of course, that was Brian Bitler, who is with us every day here on Pick Dogs. I'm with Joe Madden, and Joe. Pretty solid show there. I think all the cappers came bringing it today, well prepared, and you yourself included. Anything that they didn't go through that you want to talk about, give us a free pick, or you You good to go gearing up for tomorrow?
I'm good to go, geared up for tomorrow. The only other one I'm looking at is the over in Hawaii versus Oregon. I think just what we saw out of Hawaii, their defense allowed 39.5 points so far in the last 2 games. They averaged that. And their offense scored 49 points in their last game, where Oregon gave up 30 points in the last game. This over has hit 5 out of 6 times against Mountain West Conference team. So I'm liking the over 65 in this. I'm also liking Wisconsin against East Michigan. I think they really outplayed Penn State in the last game. Yes, they lost to Penn State, but I think they outplayed. They definitely were the better team in this. I think they have an elite defense, a really solid offensive line with a great run game behind that, allowing this run game to really take off. So I'd be looking at Wisconsin's actually one of my favorites on the board.
A little bit of frustration and a big offensive line. It's a miserable spot for a MAC team, I'll tell you that much. I was going to bring my iPad here and show everybody the jump around because Joe mentioned it last week, and I thought the song is probably trademarked to probably throw me off YouTube just for showing it. So not going to do that. But anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. Make it a winning day. I'm going to try like crazy to act more professional tomorrow for NFL opening Sunday. It's going to be a tough one, but somehow we'll manage. Tomorrow's show, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be able to cruise, take our time through it. We're going to have, I believe, an extra capper because Ruffalo, once you let him in, he never leaves. He is a ball hog, no doubt about it. But thanks, everyone, for joining us. Make it a winning day. I'm going to try and act more professional tomorrow. And, Joe, always a pleasure.